we're back. Judd'z Budz. I think it's 201. It's not on the thing. But I think last week was 200 or something. Because we were talking shit about not doing the numbers thing anymore. But anyways, Spokesy, joined as always by my good friend, Mr. at State of Hoppy, and very special guest, very good friend, Seth from the Locked On Wild. Fellas, how are we doing?
Been better, I think, is the easiest way to put it.
Yeah.
And I guess, I don't know, Seth and I have kind of gotten a warm-up and worked out some of the kinks. I know we've both already kind of come on and talked about just how shitty this is. I don't know. But, yeah, it feels like something, especially like with our group here. Like, by no means are we Jesse's three best friends, but we like to have fun. Like, Jessi was one of us in the truest form, and I know she meant a lot to all of us, and it's crazy. Again, if anyone somehow hasn't seen it across social media, across all of the podcasts that have said incredible things about her today, Jessi Pierce, awesome coverage of the Wild and just all around awesome human and fun person to engage with online, which I'm sure most of you have done at some point or another. Tragically, her three children and their family dog all taken by a house fire this weekend. And it still doesn't really feel real. I kind of go through waves of like accepting and still not fully understanding. But I mean, I don't know where either of you want to start on this, but she is the most unique person on the internet in general, but covering the Wild. Jessi was Jessi. You can come up with 10 different identifiers that if you just said, like, oh, that girl who takes bikini photos in the snow. Oh, that girl who has post-game Taco Bell. Oh, like, there's so many things that are just like so unapologetically Jessi that made her who she was. And I'm just going to miss it.
Yeah, it's been a tough 48 hours to say the least. And, you know, for me, doing a public address for the Maverick men's hockey team, I was coming off of the absolute highest of highs, celebrating the Mavericks getting into the NCAA tournament Friday night, and woke up on Saturday and just the complete opposite feeling. I did not do a thing the rest of the weekend. I couldn't wrap my head around the news. I couldn't fathom something like this happening, and especially considering who it happened to. Jessi would go into any room and immediately I've seen the word life of the party used a lot, and that was 100% it. She operated with such a confidence and such a just energy for anything that she was doing. It was infectious. It was easy to want to gravitate towards that. And I think one of the just biggest things that I am trying to kind of come to grips with is like, why did it have to be her? I don't understand why it had to happen. I am still just at a loss.
Yeah. I was trying, I went back and forth the past couple of days. been like incredible seeing not just like the amount of people and the people that I never would have even expected to have known about Jessi, or even just people that maybe didn't know her but are sharing the story, but like the amount of people that have had personal experiences with her, and not just reposting or posting a link to the GoFundMe, which everyone, if you can, please donate. But really heartfelt messages, and coming from, for me, it's a little bit different. Like Jessi's obviously someone that over the past 5-6 years become close with, but out here in Boston, I have to remind myself that I've only actually hung out with her in person a couple of times that I've been to Minnesota. But for me, Jessi's always been special. Just she was one of the very first people in Minnesota who ever engaged with or interacted with like my social media posts, which were mostly moronic. But like she was fully in and engaged and like reposting stuff or just interacting and chatting. And then over the course of time, obviously, just made me feel welcome in this weird little Minnesota hockey community online that like you and I, like all of us were good friends eventually before I ever came out there for the first time and hung out in person.
Before anyone even saw your face.
Before anyone even saw my face, and just assumed that I was actually a potato child. So she was absolutely one of the very first people to ever make me feel like I had a place that had friends out in Minnesota, despite never having stepped foot there up until a couple of years ago. But it was, I mean, again, like I said, like the past couple of days, I've just been looking through some just like the amazing posts, and there have been some incredible tributes to her. Seth, I saw yours. That was so the fact that you were able to sit there and do a monologue, that was really nice. Sarah Sivian posted a really nice Substack article. Chris Peters, I saw, I think it was this morning, posted like the first ever like email. It was just like, you read it, it was like, yeah, that's Jessi. It was back in 2007.
No, it honestly like was like, oh my gosh, this had to have been the beginning of Jessi, because it was such a like polished professional, like, hi, I would love to give you my resume. And I'm like, oh man, I would have loved to see the like version a month ago of what she would have sent.
Yeah. And then I was just laughing, going and just seeing some of the threads. Seth, it was mostly you, me, and Jessi just on Spaces, to the point where we were like, let's start a podcast with the Spaces. We were like coming up with different names, and it would literally be like 7 of us on there until 4:00 in the morning. Half the time, Micheletti would fall asleep and start storing. Then Seth would also fall asleep. And at one point, it was literally just me and Jessi. You're like, are they both sitting there storing into their phone? And then Ridley people would wake up. It was just,
How much money would you pay for an archived recording of one of those?
Oh my god!
No, I mean, there's no amount I wouldn't pay, but I think everyone that met her felt like, you meet her once, it's like you've known her for 10 years.
Yeah.
And she made you feel welcome with wherever you were, whatever you were doing. Such a good advocate, obviously, just for hockey, but like just the best of us, really. I mean, incredible human being, incredible mother. And I mean, that's obviously, first, she came on here was it 2 years ago, and was saying the Anaheim Ducks were going to make the playoffs, so we all made fun of her, and now here they are. And Mikael Granlund, of course, last night scores to tie the game up against Sabres late in the third period. Obviously, Granlund, and her oldest have a special relationship with Granlund, so I mean, it was just one of those things. But it is just it's a really shitty couple days, and you just like. I don't really know what happens after you pass on here, but I hope she can look down and see just the sheer number of people who are saying really amazing things about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the amount of people that I never would have even expected to have known anyone having to do with Minnesota hockey, or just Jessi, and just seeing the heartfelt messages has been really amazing. And also just like it makes you, it's gutting at the same time, but just a special human being, a really good friend, just the best person.
She was the one, I shared this in the video that I posted. She was the one that kind of showed me the ropes in the press box when I broke through. And I remember just being wowed that had even happened. As just a podcast to be able to get up into that spot with people that wrote for NHL.com or The Athletic, and just thinking, what the hell am I doing up here? And her being so happy that all the work that had been put in had paid off. And here is where everything is. And I remember her vividly in one of the first games that I did. She left before I did, and she came up behind me and gave me a gigantic hug and said, "I am so proud of you." And that hits me pretty hard. That has over the last couple of days, because she meant it. She was so, you don't run into people all that often that are so genuinely appreciative of what other people's wins are, because everything just is so warp speed now. But she was somebody that took the time to help others celebrate their wins as much as she celebrated her own, which is so rare. And I think that's part of why she made everyone around her feel so good, is because she was able to pass that on to everyone that she interacted with.
And not to, like, we're going to stay on the Jessi track, I promise, but like, in line with, it sucks that she can't see like all of the great things that everyone's saying about her. Dude, Seth, I'm fucking proud of you, man. Like, the first time that you and I ever talked to each other about hockey, back in the Lines and Wines days, you and your boy Jensen, and like, you flat out like told us after the recording, like, dude, I'm just doing my best to freaking keep up, and I'm taking notes on everything you guys are saying. And like, now you're doing the mic at Mankato games, you're in the press box at Wild games. Like, dude, you put in the fucking work, and it shows.
Yeah, I credit a lot of what I have been able to do to Jessi, because she always, I was always amazed at the ability for her to be working on 2 or 3 different stories at once every game, and to just seamlessly jump from one to the next, and to get up and talk with particular people, and to be able to just keep everything compartmentalized, but to be able to do everything. And 15 media hits a week or whatever she was doing. Her schedule is insane, but she did all of that because she loved to do it so much. Like, she had found her dream job. Covering the Wild was the thing that she wanted to do above all else, and she was so fucking good at it.
And the thing is, like, that doesn't even matter. Like, it's great that she was so good at her job, but like, no one's talking about this because Jessi was an awesome reporter. It's because she like had an impact on everyone she talked to. Like, the amount of people out there who have never even met her, who are like saying, "Hey, I never met Jessi, but I've interacted with her on here, and holy shit, is she cool!" Like had time for everyone. Like, didn't give 2 shits. Like, was down to just have a good time and just be a genuinely good person to everybody. And this isn't, I do not want this to at all come off as like gatekeeping sadness, but like, boys, it just hits so much harder. Like, I got 2 little kids now, and just thinking not only like her kids were part of this tragedy.
Yeah.
My heart is broken, and like as much as I've been thinking about Jessi, I've thought 10 times as much about her husband Mike, who I only met once. Like I don't know him well. Honestly, he could not pick me out of a lineup, but like you can see right away why they were together. Like they were the same person.
Mhm.
And it was Isha and I talked about it on Fellowship of the Rink, but just happened to run into them at a bar before the OAR charity concert, the Crazy Game of Hockey, and then ran into them and hung out a bit at the concert too. But like, that's the only time I've ever seen or engaged with Mike. Super just down to earth, chill, like same carefree vibe as Jessi. But like, my heart is beyond broken for him. I cannot imagine getting on a flight home to literally your whole life being pulled out from under you. I don't even know where to begin. There's nothing that any of us can do to make it better. But again, like anyone that can go to the GoFundMe link that's in the description, the one that we dropped into the comments here in the live chat, just share it. Like, I know not everyone's in a position to donate. Share it. Let it keep on making the rounds. And if you do have any ability to donate, that's awesome. But it's not going to fix things. It's not going to make it better. He's got to be such a strong guy to be getting through it the way he has, because I'd be broken. I wouldn't be able to handle it. And
Yeah.
It's going to be a really long road for him to be the best version of okay he can. But like, I wish that I could just give him a hug and like tell him like, I'm sorry. Like, I still haven't fully wrapped my head around what that could even begin to feel like. So just nothing but love to Mike in particular. And then of course, a lot of the people that Jessi interacted with on the regular, whether it was in the press box or the people that she was recording with. Like, I know Kirsten was shaken by this, and she's another person too, that like, I wanted to message her and just be like, hey, like, I'm here for you. I'm also the weird person where I imagine she's gotten 200 messages saying the same thing, and I don't need to be another like voice in the void, but like, I can't imagine what she's going through. And listening to her talk on with Judd and AJ, the episode that dropped today, I think it actually was on their YouTube, but it went on the Bar Down Beauties podcast, talking about the freaking mic cover that the kids made for her. Like, I just, the whole thing, it's fucked up. It's unfair. It's unfathomable. And like you said, Seth, this shouldn't happen to anyone.
Yeah.
A tragedy like this, but it's just like, how is she the one? That's where I land.
Her last appearance on Judd's show, her kids came in as they routinely did. They came in at the end of the recording, and there were laughs that were shared, and that was on Friday. And I know the last picture that was shared by Jessi was her getting ice cream with the kids and gearing up for I can't even imagine the number of fun things that she had in store for what was going to be just an incredible weather weekend, and none of them ended up happening.
Yep. And obviously, Jessi, we love you, and I know I'm incredibly grateful for her just beginning to interact with me and welcome me into the Minnesota hockey world, and but just grateful that you have to call her a friend. So cheers to her, and our thoughts again with friends and family that are closer with her. So we love you.
The best of friends, to the point she was literally one of the boys with me. Like, literally most of our engagements, we'd go a couple months without talking, and then we'd like message back and forth for a couple days. And it usually stemmed from one of us thought the other person's post was funny, and like no one else did. It was always like a post that like got 5 likes, but for some reason one of us thought it was hilarious, and that's where it would stem from. And of course, the last thing that I said to her like publicly on Facebook was just like, damn it, Jessi, I hate that you're making me cheer against Matamidai. And immediately she's like, yes, you needed to say this, but also I won't acknowledge that publicly. Like,
I ran into her at State Girls Hockey. The first game was at Grand Casino Arena. I ran into her at Tria for the next game 2 days later. And the first thing that she asked me was, so they kicked you out already of Grand Casino Arena? And I kind of chuckled, but I remember saying, it's good to see you. We need to do like a little catch-up session. Usually we'd record a little, maybe one segment, and spend another 20-25 minutes just shooting the shit. And that was actually supposed to happen this week, but just how it played out. But I remember, one of the other things that I maybe one of the greatest meme photos that will ever exist is her at the dentist. And I remember seeing the photo and saying, there's no way that that's not going to be a meme template that I use forever. And I'm going to keep that one.
She would be offended if you didn't continue to use it.
Like there were just so many interactions where she would say something about like the team not playing well, and I just would pop it up as a response, or she'd say something, just some small comment, and I would pop that in as a response just to try to kind of get that back and forth going again.
See, that's like right in line with the vintage. We haven't used it in a while. Maybe we need to resurface it, but just the boo, tomato. Hate it.
Alexis.
The Alexis classic. Oh, God. Last little one for me is just I told her right away, but I was weirdly obsessed with, at the very end of every episode for them, the song plays going out. It's like, like, God damn it. That just hits so hard every time.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, we've all said it. We'll probably continue saying it for quite a while here, but love you, Jessi.
Yeah.
It's bullshit, but we're all going to keep on carrying on as best we can, like you would, which is very hard for me. I am not a Jessi who is unapologetically himself. That's not in my repertoire, not my bag. The only one, which I mentioned with Isha too, is just the shorts coming out way too early and staying out way too long. And she was probably my biggest supporter in that. She's like, yes, you fight that good fight. But outside that, I got nothing. I'm pretty reserved. Maybe I'll try and bust out. But
it's been, the support has been amazing. I just saw that the Columbus Blue Jackets donated $10,000 to her GoFundMe.
That drops.
Jeannie Buss of the Los Angeles Lakers front office donated. So you want to talk about the impact that she had on the sports world. That certainly is a good indicator of that. And just so many that shared their interactions and stories. That's been the one good thing from the last couple of days. But it hurts that is kind of what led to it. That is a situation like this. And I know that we want to make sure to celebrate people in situations like this, but I keep going back to, like, tell people while they're here. Like, tell people while they're here. And I have, over the last few months, with all the artificial intelligence stuff, I've been really trying to hammer home to people that listen to these shows. Make sure you support any of the podcasts that you listen to and any of the creators that you listen to on a daily basis. We're pretty fucking lucky here in Minnesota with the amount of people that cover this team and cover Minnesota sports and are so dedicated in how they do it. Make sure that they know while they're here. Like I'm appreciative of all the people that have taken the time to share their Jessi stories. I'm glad we have. I just, my wish is I hope Jessi knew, and I'm sure she did, but I hope that she knew while she was here that people felt this way too.
The beauty with her is I don't think she cared either way.
Yeah.
Like 100%. She would have loved to know it, but like she wasn't doing it for anything. Mm-hmm. She just was. And to your point, Seth, like I appreciate the hell out of you boys. I think you probably know that, but like on the flip side, not just like the content creators, like we have such an awesome community of people that like, why on earth do we get 1,000+ people watching this stream every late Monday night? Why does that exist? You guys are awesome. We love you. I don't understand why you want to listen to us talk, but I beyond appreciate that you come here and engage with us every week. Like, you guys fucking rock too. Anything else you guys want to say here? Again, this isn't closing the book by any means. This is our first attempt at just saying words that somewhat represent what Jessi meant to all of us. It's pretty tough to conjure all of it, but anything you guys want to hit on before we have the least gracious transition ever on a podcast?
I don't know so far, but again, another big lover.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Do we want to start NHL wide or Minnesota Wild as we venture into hockey? All right, Minnesota Wild. There's surprisingly a decent amount of things to talk about of late. I think the one thing that everyone knows about, and I'm just curious to hear what you guys want to say, Spurge 1K. Like, whoever would have thought that Jared Spurgeon would have made an impact in the NHL, let alone be a captain and be here for 1,000 freaking games, when he almost had the Marty St. Louis path where like you were like this close to not even playing in the league. He was ready to go overseas. Like, awesome for him. And it kind of like Jessi too. Like, it's not just what he does on the ice. Everyone starts with, what a good fucking person.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy to me that as long as he's been in the league, it still feels like he doesn't get nearly enough credit for how good he's been. Like, him and Jonas Brodin, I think, are still widely undersold as far as defensemen go in the league. And he's been doing that now for, I don't even know how many years, 14, 15 years, just at a solid, consistent level every year.
Yeah, I mean, he's a machine. Like you said, like, just definition of an underdog just to get to the NHL, to get a deal, and then again, moving forward, like, hit the NHL, never look back, becomes team captain, hits 1,000 games, and for the last however many years, when healthy, has been consistently one of the most underrated defensemen in the NHL, a premier defensive defenseman, despite playing at his size. And you got to remember, too, like, when he comes in, he's playing, it's like the game's changed so much over the last few years. I feel like every 3 or 4, it goes from, like, it just, hockey, specifically in the NHL, has just changed, where it's like, when he came in, like, there were some big boys running around. It was still, like, you had a whole fourth line or whoever, just, like, a couple fucking mutants out there. And this kid is not, like, he looks the exact same. His face hasn't changed. He literally just looks like he is a spry 24-year-old. But he's just been a machine. Right. I mean, he's just been a machine ever since. So the ceremony was incredible. Obviously, seeing his family on the ice was awesome. And just seeing, like, I mean, when Zuccarello came onto the ice, Zuccarello comes here, 5-6 years ago, and clearly, like, they're all super close. And, like, Obviously, Zuccarello has a good relationship with his kids. So he's like a special player, really good, just another great ambassador for hockey in Minnesota. But like, God, what a player! Like since hitting the ice here in Minnesota, and the fact that it all starts with like a dev camp invite, like it's crazy. So very well earned, and I think he's got like a couple points away from
2 assists
for now.
2 assists and 1 power play point away from having every defenseman record. But yes, Quinn Hughes being the key barrier there. If he extends for anything more than like 2 years, probably all gone. But I love that. That's great. I hope that's a problem. And I say this with zero disrespect, but we have to ask the question, like, do you think any of his kids ever look older than him? I think that they could surpass him visually.
It won't
It's a
take
real tough
either.
spot to be in.
Yeah. It's like the opposite. You know, I don't know if you guys watch golf at all, but there's this golfer Tony Finau.
Oh yeah.
If you see this kid, they look the exact like it's like terrifyingly the same. And then I was like, I mean, one of them does look older than him, and I was like, they are the same human. Like the Finau, there's like a million of them. But his kids look,
Which is crazy because like Finau, like don't get me wrong,
I never thought he had a baby face. I saw his kid
like
that was like 2. His kid was like 2, and I was like, that guy looks older than Tony.
Okay,
And like the same, it's crazy, but yeah, no, it's possible. God, yeah, Jared Spurgeon, what a player! Shout out him. And it looked dicey there for a little bit. Like, got the last couple of years with those injuries and missing so much time, and like some injuries that were just like coming out of like just the most unlucky plays, and then re-aggravating some of the like most catastrophic kinds of injuries, like to your back, shoulders. Like it's crazy.
You know, I thought he got revenge. He took as many Achilles as were taken from him. So I'll never let go of that one just because it's so out of character for him. Like I'm not sitting here saying like Jared Spurgeon, how could you? You're a terrible person. It's just like he does have a little bit of mean in him.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I liked when he did that. And I've had a few Blues fans like, "Oh, he's classy." I'm like, "Yeah, he is. Fuck you." Like, I don't care. Good. Hope he does it again.
I hope he gives the Vanderkade.
He's not going to get suspended for more than a period. Apparently, that's how we roll here in the NHL now.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we talk NHL stuff. That's a problem in and of itself. I have to say, bring up the thing that the person you never agree with said that's right. Well, not even right, but funny and topical, and something I would say. Everyone is like making a big thing of how we play to the competition. We lose to lottery teams. We beat top contenders. To quote the great Anthony LaPanta, how many non-playoff teams will we play in the playoffs?
Listen, points were made.
Like, I know it's not that simple, and that like the concern is, oh my God, how can we play that low? But I like it. I like where his head's at. That's how I would view it. So
well, and here's the thing that I think about. How long have we known that the Wild were basically locked into the third spot? What, 2 months? That was pre-Olympics, right? It basically has been.
I think we actually had a little bit of hope that we might be able to jump.
Yeah,
for a second.
They did jump momentarily, and then Dallas won like 4,000 games in a row.
Yeah, Dallas is like, we're never gonna lose again, except for losing 1 point to the Wild. Like, okay, that's sick, awesome.
And at some point, you just kind of autopilot. You just kind of lock in and like, yeah, we're set where we're at. I mean, I take way more stock in the record against the teams that are actually going to be in the playoffs than I do against the teams that are not, because there are so many different variables for those non-playoff teams playing for pride, playing for new jobs, playing for an opportunity to maybe get traded off of a terrible team. There are so many different factors that weigh in with those teams. Yeah. And for the playoff teams, a lot of times they're trying to conserve bullets in the tank.
Wow.
Like they're trying to make sure that they have enough at the end of the year to be able to still hit that next gear in the playoffs.
Well, and like the $15-ish million question is, when do we try our best to persuade Quinn Hughes that load management might be beneficial in the long run? Like, you are set at that 3 spot. Maybe play like 25 minutes instead of 30. Like, maybe just conserve the legs a little bit. See if other guys can step in and do something with the couple minutes. Like, I don't know. I think load management in the NBA sucks. I think it generally makes no sense in the NHL because you're usually playing down to the wire, but we are in such a unique spot where, like, fate is set. We are where we are. We don't control who we're going to play in that first round, but we know we're going to be the low seed playing either Dallas or Colorado. Why not make sure everyone's at 100% and get guys through the rotation to figure out, hey, when injuries do happen, because for the Minnesota Wild, they will fucking happen. What are our best options to fill in gaps? I don't know. Like, how do you do that when Quinn Hughes is going to say no?
I was genuinely shocked he actually decided to come off the ice right before the Tarasenko OT.
I love how that
he was
being
literally
said by
out there
everyone.
for like 2 minutes, and I was like, he might stay. He's
on,
like,
on the broadcast, they were like,
well, if you
wow,
look-
Quinn Hughes making the smart decision to get off. Huh.
well, if you watch, he like dropped the puck off, and then he like looked back, and he was like, all right, and then he like meandered his way and like slumped over the bench or whatever, as one does. But even before the Quinn Hughes thing, I think the past couple of years we've complained about the Wild beating the shit out of bad teams, and then they couldn't beat Winnipeg. They could never beat Dallas. They've always weirdly played Colorado incredibly well, like in the regular season, past however many years. So I will absolutely take them going toe to toe and or beating all of the teams that are going to be projected to be the playoffs right now. So I will take this over the last couple of years, or like everyone would just be like fraud alert, like, oh, fraud watch. Let's see what Minnesota does. So I will definitely take this over what we had the past couple of years, even though again, like, it's annoying now, but like at the same time, it's like you're just watching them go up against other battle tested teams. Teams are going to be in the hunt. Teams like Dallas, who they will be playing the first round. So I will absolutely take this over that.
It could be Colorado. It could.
What I know, yeah, no, that's the thing, but yeah. And then with Quinn Hughes too, like, I mean, I've said this since they acquired him. I was like, I would love to have them be in a spot where they can get him closer to like 24 minutes a night over like 27, 28. Not because he can't do it, just like, again, if you can like have his minutes be somewhat manageable, and then let's say like late and close games or tied or whatever, or if you're going for the win, you could just throw that like nuclear option on of like Kaprizov with Boldy and whoever, plus Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber, whoever you need to put up points. Like, that's obviously the ideal situation there. Like,
it's the most Minnesota thing ever that you couldn't name a center.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I say any other, like, it doesn't matter what center. Like, oh, dude, that's the guy, really? I'm like, okay, I'll throw Eric Sedek out there, just like we saw in the playoffs last year. It was electric. So but either way, and I think obviously, eyebrows were raised when past couple of games we see like Hughes and Faber separated. I want to see that right now. I think part of that too is the fact I'm sure they're trying to like reduce those minutes for both of them. Same time, every game now has just been super close, so now they have to keep throwing them out the ice. But again, I think the more that they can, as far as like load management goes, with someone like a Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber, who both are like, put me on the ice for 37 minutes minimum, or I'm asking for a trade. No, I think the more that they can get them close, like that 24, 25 minute spot. And then again, like in close games, certain situations, you can just like, if you want to go skate downhill, throw both over the boards, and then whatever four combinations going. That's obviously the best option. But again, I think they're obviously in the spot right now where they know one of two teams that they're going to be playing. And they're pretty much locked in their spots.
So here's the fun question, and I feel like there's two answers. There's a fun answer, and there's like the I embrace chaos question or answer. Sorry. Who do we want to see get the 8 seed? Because it feels like we know Utah's going to get the 7 and get the easy path through the Pacific, which is a joke in and of itself, but whatever. Who do we want to be the 8 that's going to end up playing Colorado or Dallas, whoever we don't play? And Again, I think there's a fun answer, and I think there's one where it's like, yeah, fuck you, whoever gets the 1 seed. I got 2 easy picks. What do you guys think?
I mean, just for the full chaos of it, I would hate to have to run into them because the Wild have not had any measurable level of success against them this year. I would love to see the Sharks.
That's my fun pick.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they give me all of the Macklin Celebrini and the young kids over their vibes.
Yeah.
I refuse to watch the LA Kings play another.
Get them out.
Oh,
I mean, I know it goes against my brand, but LA should be out.
Yeah, they know that. Yeah, no, that's totally against your brand.
Fucking hate them.
It's one of the worst brands of hockey I've ever seen in my entire life. They have fewer wins in regulation than everyone in the West except for Vancouver.
Yeah,
they have 18 wins in regulation. The Chicago Blackhawks have 19. You're welcome, Chicago.
Yeah.
You're welcome. But yeah, no, give me San Jose in the playoffs. Give me playoff Macklin Celebrini. Need it. That's all I really care about at this point.
Okay, but who do you think my chaos pick is? Like, if we just want to stick it to them and maybe see an upset. I don't think either of these teams want to fucking play the Winnipeg Jets. I'm not saying that I think they're better, but they've looked different down the stretch. And again, now that Connor Hellebuck is no longer a failure in clutch time, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think also it's weird, and now they're literally in that 8 spot right now. Fucking Nashville has been since I think it's like January something. They're like top 12 of the NHL for points percentage wins. It's weird.
Do they scare you though?
No,
like not at all.
But I'm just saying, like, as far as like teams that are like play well, and then all of a sudden St. Louis is like, no, wait, we're not as bad as you all think we are. But well, you still are, but at the same time, it was very weird that you were this bad. They're making a weird little run, although they've also now, like, I think they're what, like 7-1-2 in their last 10, which makes no sense. Like, they all got mad that like Parayko's still probably gonna get traded this offseason. And they're like, no, don't do that. And then they're like, Robert Thomas, he make a trade, which still doesn't make sense. And now all of a sudden they can't lose. So I don't know what the hell is going on in the West. It's been the weirdest. It's just been a weird season, but I do love the fact that there's so many random teams that could possibly get in. And again, like looking at what the playoff picture looks like now versus what we were anticipating coming into the season, it's very exciting getting so many different teams, both in the East and the West. Just a completely different playoff picture with different teams getting in. And then some of, I mean, just Jesus Christ, that Pacific Division, my God.
So,
my God. Pillow fight.
Next thing I want to bring up, because I talked to Ish about it and it kind of put his brain in a pretzel. It might not do the same to the two of you because IQs are different, but everyone kind of got excited online and they're like, oh my God, look what we're doing against Dallas. And we don't have Kaprizov and Ek. It's like, yeah, Dallas is missing guys in the lineup too. And my question, I'll throw it up as a poll here on YouTube now, but which duo is more impactful? Kirill Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson Ek, or Mikko Rantanen and Roope Hintz? And I'll phrase it in a way that makes it a little bit more cut and dry. Would you rather all 4 players play in a heads-up 7-game series or all 4 players not play that entire series?
I mean, that second crazy question. Give me all 4 of them playing. And
I'm saying if you want the Wild to win is the question.
I don't
Not
care.
for good hockey. I'm saying like what's better for the Wild?
I think for the Wild to be their full best, I think you gotta have you got to have both of those guys in the lineup, especially Eck. I mean, and like not to discount Kirill, but Eck just adds another element to that roster. And Rantanen is clear is maybe too strong, but he's definitely the number 2 to Robertson. Whereas Kirill is probably your number 1 option.
I disagree.
I
think Robertson is like, if you're talking just pure goal scoring, sure. I don't know that I'm going to call him the number 2 to Robertson as a whole. I mean, I'm not like aggressively protesting.
Yeah, that's fair.
If I have to pick either of those 2 players, I think I'm picking Rantanen. I don't know. Z, break the tie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think
Pass.
I think they're both great, and like at the end of the day, it's all about having fun.
Only one of them has stolen Foligno's nickname, so
good point.
So yeah, I changed my mind, Robertson.
But yeah, no, I think as far as Eck and Kaprizov versus Hintz and Rantanen, what's gonna be the most impactful? I still just be it's funny. Normally, like anyone who doesn't watch the Minnesota Wild every day for the past however many years would be like, Kaprizov, yeah, no, they can't have that. They can't possibly go without him. It's like, I don't think you understand, like, Joel Eriksson might be the most important player on this team for, like, long-term success through the course of regular season. Like, we saw what happened last year when it was like, everyone's going down, X barely hanging on, nope, X out. And then it's just like, the amount of destruction that does to their fucking like 4 lineup, specifically, obviously the center position. If Joel Eriksson is out there, is just like you have to change up every like you basically have to like
it's
manufacture. I mean, look what they did the last couple of games, like without obviously both of them, but like specifically at center, they're like, oh boy, we gotta play some games here. Like the line combos against Dallas were bananas. Worked out. Shout out Bobby Brink for going sicko mode. Holy fuck.
We'll talk about him in a second. For me, though, it's so hard for me because I love Roope Hintz. Like, I'm obsessed with him as a player. I think that if you just, like, say, like, what's the more talented duo? I'm taking Dallas. But, Z, you hit the nail on the head for me. The Minnesota Wild cannot afford to lose their best center when they don't have centers.
Yeah.
Especially with what he does in the playoffs. Now, part of that is also, can you promise me that they'll stay healthy through the whole thing? Because I'd almost shift back to let's have none of them in, because X probably going to get hurt in the first round somehow. He does it every time.
He lives hurt.
But if healthy, like, yeah, I think the Wild duo is more impactful come postseason, which is crazy because, again, Rantanen and Hintz are sick. But it was just an interesting thought starter, I guess, especially because of how many people were like, hey, the Wild don't have Kaprizov and Eck. Think about how good we'll do against him in a playoff series. I'm like, hold on. No.
I still want all 4 playing just because, regardless, I still have, again, I said this last week, Minnesota, like everyone talks, like, especially with how things have gone the past couple of weeks, I guess, or maybe since the Olympic break or whatever, everyone's like pumping Dallas's tires. Colorado, they are what they are, and then they loaded up at the deadline. They're scared. They're terrifying. And at one point, we're looking like they were going to shatter every single record the Bruins set a couple years ago in the regular season as far as wins, points, like whatever. And I mean, sure, they've cooled off, but they are still insane. And everyone's just like, in Minnesota, I mean, you know, this is crazy. I'm like, no. I think if you watch, especially if you watch them head-to-head this year, especially, that's not like you should be going into a series, whether they're playing Colorado, whether they're playing Dallas, and just be like big underdogs. Like, no, they're right there with these guys. So that's kind of where I land. So I want to see the healthiest lineup for both teams humanly possible, because I want to see that kind of hockey.
Fair.
And just let, again, this fucking first 2 rounds just be an absolute murder fest. That was the other thing too. I was like, God, this series is gonna, like, Jesus Christ, it's gonna it might rack up a body count, but we'll see what they start doing.
I said after the McCarron and Foligno acquisitions, I said there will literally be a fatality in round 1.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, in fairness, it's
Did
not
you see
gonna have
McCarron
anything to do with
just
McCarron?
get out of Donato? Donato,
Yeah.
I don't know what Donato did, but the last 3 shifts of that of McCarron against Chicago, he just kept going after Donato, and then the last time McCarron goes fuck it and just started throwing bombs. At
Who
Donato.
was
How
that?
about him catching strays with that too? Everyone's like, yeah, it's no shock Donato's been on this many teams. No one gives a shit about him. It's like, damn, like what?
It's like I've watched McCarron do that to like 50 guys this year. He's just like, I need to tee off on someone right now. And Donato
Did
was just
he
there.
not? Was it Bedard that McCarron hit in that Chicago game, and he just like both legs just came
Disintegrated? Yeah.
straight up, and McCarron didn't even budge. Like he just slid across the ice like you were throwing a piano.
Well,
out
first
there.
shift, he fucking went Control Alt Delete on Connor Bedard. And I was like, who's gonna do something about Chicago? No one. Oh, okay.
Nick Foligno. Oh, fuck.
Whoops. Nick was just like,
Mateo asks you, Z, does Fabry still get a lightsaber for round 1?
he will always have a lightsaber. Shout out Robbie Fabry.
Ah, that's very good. All right, let's get into the other guy you mentioned then, Z.
Actually, wait. Side note, real quick.
oh.
Did you see? You know how the Wild for social media they do like the trivia in the hallway with the mini mic on the social media.
Mhm.
They're like,
It's
who's
not
the luckiest?
trivia, but yeah.
Well, no, Zuccarello freaks out whenever it's not trivia. So now they try
Oh.
to do trivia as much as possible. But then the other day they were like, who's the luckiest? Who is the most luck on the team? And it definitely wasn't supposed to be a chirp. But McCarron goes, well, I just got here. I don't know. Maybe Fabry. He didn't even have a fucking contract at the start of the year. And here he is. I was like, yo, I think you meant that as a positive. I was like, yo, dude, what?
I never
was
saw that.
like-
That's incredible.
Like, he didn't have a contract start of the year. Here he is. It's like, Jesus Christ. I know what you meant. That's in my twisted head. That was very funny. It's just insane.
That's awesome. Oh, fuck. All right, Bobby Brink. I think it's an understatement to say that we were all excited when that trade was made. Was Saturday Bobby Brink's coming out party? Because he was a fucking animal and best player on the team, was he not?
Yeah, he was one of them for sure, and I think he brings a needed element with all the beef that the Wild have added to their lineup. You got to have a side dish. You got to have a side dish that's capable of doing some different things, and he can play with speed, but he also has he's got a little bit of that pit bull to him that I think fits perfect. But some sneaky stick handling, as Jake Ottinger found out the hard way against Dallas. That was disgusting.
Yeah, I love him. And I mean that game, since they acquired him, the few games he's played, and he's played up, not necessarily down the lineup, but like floating between that second, third line. And obviously that last game they were just throwing lines together here, which again, I want to see as many different combinations as possible, because I think when it's all said and done, let's say they somehow, which will never happen, but let's say they are against all odds somewhat or completely healthy, John Hines have that good problem on his hands where he's got to figure out who's like in and out. But like Bobby Brink, I love the addition to this lineup. Just the fact that he can play up and down. He's a really good two-way player. He's got the foot speed. He's got good skill. He's got a great shot, but he's also defensively responsible. Like you can really plug and play him pretty much up and down that lineup, which I love. And I think on that game against Dallas, obviously was by far the most comfortable he's looked since getting here. And I mean, obviously the goal was one thing. That last 58-second shift in that third period, he was everywhere. He was throwing hits, like collecting pucks, like loose pucks, going down himself, hanging on, like absorbing contact, creating dangerous scoring chances himself. It was just a really, just like that last shift. It stood out in my mind. I clipped it and posted it. It was just, he was a monster. And that pass, I don't really know. Like all three Dallas Stars remembered their boy John Klingberg and just went straight leg, no bend in the knee, like float towards the puck or just in a general direction. They decided to leave Vlad Tarasenko wide open in the slot, but that fucking
Thank you though. You pointed that out to everybody. I have to give you credit. Like, I was sitting there just thinking, how is he so open? And I just like, that's all I did. And I'm like, yeah, we won. Hell yeah. You had like 3 different views of ISO cam still shots of like, these 3 guys are all right here next to Bobby Brink. What the fuck?
Yeah. Bobby Brink has his back. Bobby Brink has his back to the Dallas net along the wall. And they were all like, all 3 of us should probably go over there and handle that. And then they all went. But with the no look, I mean, just that fucking quick touch pass, which was absolute rifle over to Tarasenko, who had 11 minutes to just settle like right in the slot. And that shot, sick. And I think before the year, we were like, if we get 15 out of Tarasenko for when you acquire for future consideration, that's an A+ trade. Now he's hit 20. Again, last week we said, I want to see him up in the lineup, especially if you need to like have some secondary scoring that's not named Matt Boldy and Kirill Kaprizov. So we'll see what happens. But a
couple weeks ago, we were talking about him being benched. He was going to be scratched in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been pretty tough on him at points throughout the year because but I think we saw a lot of what did not work for him in Detroit and the Wild learning from that here this season and being able to put him with some players that can kind of play off of his shot. I've moved him square into that was a W acquisition. That was a win by Billy. Not only for what he's done, but I think just the presence that he has provided for Danila Yurov too. Like being able to pull him along this season and show him the ropes. You essentially have what Tarasenko has provided on the ice and the development that he has helped Yurov do, and you got that for literally just taking on his cap space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was laughing. There's another great clip again from the Wild social media team in the tunnel after practice where they were like, "What's the biggest animal that you could beat in a fight?" And Yurov, still barely speaks English, and he was like, just looking for Tarasenko. He's like, I don't know. It was beer. I was like,
dog, you gotta help me.
He was like, how about bear?
We love sugar.
And he's like, also, why do they keep saying that after I score a goal? Danila. But yeah, I mean, again, before the year started, it was like, if you had 12 to 15, that's a win from Tarasenko because just the way the past couple of years have gone. But part of this too is just the fact that you put him in that lineup, you put him in a position to score goals and do what he's literally the best part of his game. And when he was in his prime, one of the best shooters in the league, and still has that shot if you can get the puck. That's why I think you just have to put him higher up in that lineup. And I mean, they're getting the results from it. So we'll see what the lines look like. And I was listening to Russo today. They're like, who knows? Like, they were talking about who's gonna be the odd man out, and like Yurov's name came up, and I was like, if Yurov is out of this line, I will lose my fucking mind. If he,
they did say,
yeah, they did.
He has to play because then they can't use the Rossi argument.
Yeah. And I was like, if that happens, I swear to all things holy, like I will lose it. Oh yeah, the Middleton was like, how about a deer? You can fight a deer. You can beat up a deer.
If the deer knew that we were engaging in combat for our life, I would be terrified of a deer.
I forgot that was who when he was looking around, clearly looking for Tarasenko to help him. And Jake Middleton was the translator for. He's out of deer. You can beat up a deer. All right.
This damn team.
Yeah. Yeah. Shit. I don't know.
And then, dude, I tell you what, the last couple games of Hughes and Spurgeon, especially that last game against Dallas, they looked really good. And again, I'm assuming by the time we get the playoffs, when it's all said and done, it's going to be Hughes and Faber together. But I really want to see them keep leaning on, like, splitting them up, having them play with those two. And, like, yeah, Brody and Faber for 2 games, like, it's been hit or miss. But at the same time, like, it's not really anything that we have to worry about. We've seen it for a couple of years now. Like, it's going to be fine if they were to go with that for a little bit here. But I just want to see them split up for a little bit, see what they could do. And again, kind of just more out of curiosity, see what Hughes and Spurgeon could bring you. But and again, reduce the minutes, not lead on them so hard every high leverage situation. So it looks like.
Do you like Spurgeon Brodin as a pairing in a vacuum?
Yeah, I think it'd be like a really solid, just like low event, no nonsense.
Yeah.
Pair. It's just again like it makes me nervous at times, but like as far as just like the fact that both Brodin and Spurgeon are getting up there in 8, but like it's a pretty reliable, no nonsense. Nothing's gonna happen in the D zone with those two on the ice.
And I think as a number 2 pairing, I think that is perfectly fine. I think you would go into battle against most teams in the NHL with that as your number 2. The thing is just, I know Brett has mentioned this a lot, is Quinn and Faber playing such high event hockey that I think Hines kind of wanted to see, can we slow that pace down a little bit by splitting up Hughes and Faber to just see if maybe we get a little less as far as the attempts against go. But
it's crazy looking at their splits where it's like you would assume, like when you watch them play, whenever Faber and Hughes on the ice at the same time, you're like, oh my God, they have the puck the whole time. Like, nope, they basically trade chances, except they create about 17 times more than they used to. I was like, yeah, they are. That's why, like, it's crazy. Like, their underlying numbers don't look crazy, like as crazy you would think they would. But it's just because it's just such high event hockey going back both ways. It's chaos.
Yes. So going back quick to Bobby Brink, it will not happen. I just threw it out as a complete moonshot. But if somehow Fellowship of the Rink on Twitter hits 1,000 followers, which, I mean, you'd think between like my 4,000 some and Joe's like many, many more than that, there's got to be 1,000 people in there that'll follow it. We'll drop the Bobby Brink interview the second it hits 1,000. Again, that won't happen. Otherwise, it'll be a week and a half from now. But very fun interview. Good kid. Like him a lot. And just, I never expected that to be the return for Jiricek. God bless the Philadelphia Flyers' existence. They gave us Zeev Buium, which gave us Quinn Hughes, and now they gave us Bobby Brink. How are we going to get Porter Martone from them is my question.
Well, I mean, side note, shout out Jiricek. He's been great for Lehigh Valley. I mean, he's like 1.5 points per
I'm
game.
still a Jiricek believer.
Oh, yeah. No, I just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, no. How about Martone for Pierre? 1 for 1. They're like, deal.
What limb was severed from Martone's body? I want to decide whether or not I'm still in.
Yeah, well, fair.
Pinky, yes. Left leg, no.
Yeah. If it's a small appendage, we're fine. But if it's something that's going to impact his ability to get up and down the ice, might have a problem.
Allegedly.
There we go. Allegedly. All right. Next up is just NHL, a couple NHL topics in general, but Mateo says we have a super chat that needs to be addressed. Dave Valensky, who's been chiming in a lot more the last couple of weeks here. Dave, we love you. God bless you. Ottawa's hot right now. Do you think they make the playoffs?
It's crazy that they are
a clusterfuck.
Well, the problem is they're the poster child of we have not had reliable, consistent goaltending ever.
Because he didn't exist for a couple months.
Well, other than last year, they have had nothing. If you look at every single statistical category, the Ottawa Senators are top 5. They give up absolutely nothing defensively. They control the play pretty much every single fucking. And now they're without Sanderson. That's massive. The Sanderson loss. He's one of the best defensemen in the NHL.
How long is he out?
He's a freak. I don't know. They lost a couple more defensemen. Shabbat went out. They finished the game tonight. By the way, the New York Rangers had 9 total shots on goal, which I believe is the lowest in franchise history. It was at one point 33-4 shots on goal in the third period. It was insane, and they still only won 2-1.
Remember when people
It was like
you're getting the Rangers weren't good?
Yeah, whoops. Well played.
I got a lot of other things wrong, but fuck the Rangers.
They should get in, but at the same time, they're in a rock fight right now with the Red Wings and the Islanders. I believe they play the Red Wings Tuesday, or
Urban.
I don't know. I think all the teams play each other now, and we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. Anyone can overtake Boston. Boston now has the hardest schedule left in the
That's
NHL. It's gonna be fun. We keep the Bruins somehow just keep we'll just rack these loser points up. They just fucking gave James Higgins a goddamn ATO. He's gonna go to fucking Providence. Fucking idiots.
How do we feel about
Moron.
this?
Stupid franchise. That's
Do you think he would have signed it sooner if he was drafted by the Islanders?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, totally. But I think Detroit is the team that I'm I feel like, I mean, at this point right now, they are the odd man out. And I look at both the Islanders and the Senators as more likely to get in. I just Detroit did not do enough for me at the deadline.
I need Detroit.
Ottawa made some really nice additions. And I mean, the Schaefer thing is just, this kid is insane. So the other night, he played the last 3 minutes without coming off the ice on his offside, by the way, in a game where he played 27. The kid's a freak of nature. Just an absolute beast. But
Fastest kid alive.
We'll see what happens. At the same time, they're going to also, with the Metro too, the Islanders are competing with Blue Jackets. I think they're level on points right now. Big win for the Islanders the other night. It's going to be neck and neck until game 82. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. They should make the playoffs. But if Sanderson's out for
that sucks
5 or 6 more games, that's going to be a big. I mean, and we'll see. They finished a game with 4 healthy defensemen tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you're biting into my answer, but my answer is, do I think they get in? No. If they do, whoever gets them is not happy.
Miserable.
They are so pissed off that their reward for winning their division is the Ottawa Senators. So
it's just brutal.
But do we think that Yzerman gets fired if they miss the playoffs? So I'm 50-50 on it.
I don't think he will, but what is this, year 7?
That's really hard for you to say.
Well, I mean, I've been talking so much shit about the Yzer plan for.
It's because it sucks.
Years.
Yeah, it's not what we call a plan. It's more of a concept.
How many 13, 14 overall players can we accumulate, and how many shitty defensemen can we put on our blue line? Until it's better this year, I'll give them credit. But prior, they're how many bad defensemen can we collect and pay too much?
Seth, are you saying he has a concept of a plan? Is that
the basic
the
workings
concept
of a plan? The concept.
Yeah.
Allegedly. We're 2 weeks away. The concept of the plan. Well,
because of the implication.
It's because of the implication.
I don't know. I think it's just 08 and 09 that have me permanently poisoned against Detroit, and I want them to be sad.
Yeah, I want to see playoff hockey in that barn. It's crazy to me that they haven't had it there yet. And when they really were going this year when they were second, at one point they were first in the Atlantic, that barn was rocking. So again, I want to see Detroit Red Wings playing meaningful playoff hockey, but I don't know. This team again is just not that inspiring when you watch them. But Mo Sider, holy shit! There's about 7 or 8 guys you could probably put in the Norris conversation. He's right at the top of that list as well.
At the top of that list, how?
Well, I'm sorry. I meant in that category. There's top 7 or 8 guys, 10. And I'm I can put this guy. Yeah, he's in a top 7, 8, yeah. And but all of them are if any of them will, I'll be yeah.
No, totally. And again, award voting is bullshit in hockey. So, the things Mateo noted for us that I do think are pretty noteworthy here. 1, Buffalo Sabres, who were written off as dead, GM fired at the midpoint of the year, lead the Atlantic Division. Shout out to my good buddy, college roommate, Joey Neto. I'm sure he still has all of the negativity and is ready to break PlayStation controllers when they do bad things in the postseason. But God damn it, Buffalo is going to have playoff hockey, and It's so long overdue.
Go ahead, Seth.
Yeah, it's what 13 years since they have made the postseason.
I think it's 13 or 14. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And you know where it all started, right? It all started with that
not defending the goalie.
It all started with that game that the Sabres beat the Wild, and we were like, well,
this year
we're like, hey, you should beat that Buffalo team. And now looking back, it's like that was the start of the run.
I thought you were going with the negative run of how bad they were, and it all stems back to Lucic, right, Z?
Yeah, and then again during COVID, when the Bruins, this 2011 Stanley Cup team, did that 7-hour-long Zoom thing where they watched Game 7 together, and then we're like, can we just stay on? And then they took them off air, and they apparently all just were shit-faced on Zoom for like 3 more hours. But in the middle of that one, like someone brought up like Ryan Miller, and Luch was like, what happened? What happened? And Chris Kelly was like, you ended their fucking franchise, you piece of shit. He's like, poor Paul Gostad was puking in the hallway. The next time we played, I'll be able to go fight Luch at center ice in Buffalo.
Tough luck.
But yeah, tough. I mean, they play one of the most entertaining brands of hockey. Zach Benson, I love him so much. And he got absolutely disintegrated.
He did.
By the Easter Island head, Braden McNabb. And I mean,
should have been a penguin.
They all came together. And I mean, it was, of course, a couple days after the Matthews thing with Gudas. So then we're talking shit about that. But then they came back from commercial break, and like 12 guys were on the ice from each team at center ice, just like talking shit. I was like, oh my God, they're having a meeting of the minds here while they're reviewing this potential 5-minute major. This is fucking awesome. Logan Stanley is salivating, and he's just like looking to rip someone's head off. And again, it was very funny that they traded for him. He was in the booth for that Buffalo Tampa Bay game in a psychotic assassin, like turtleneck sweater, clearly foaming at the mouth, wanting to be on the ice fighting someone. But yeah, the Buffalo Sabres, they rule. We'll see what happens now at the offseason. I got to think one of their first pieces of business is going to be locking up someone like a Zach Benson on an 8-year deal. So we'll see. But very, very entertaining brand of hockey. Good for them. And that barn is going to be nuts for playoff hockey. So it's great. I love it.
Dude, we got to pause real quick. My wife sent me a screenshot that there's people out there trying to spoof and fuck around and say that Mike Henricks was seen leaving the house at 5:10 a.m. just minutes before the fire engulfed Jessi Pearson and 3 children. Fuck all of you pieces of shit. If that's really the route you're going to try and go, you fucking losers. Disappear. Be gone for good. I cannot believe that people would stoop that low. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, I'm not even worth engaging with. I'm not going
to engage with them on like a post or anything, but like it needs to be said here. If anyone sees any of that shit, fucking ignore and move on. Like, yeah, what a fucking clown. You talked about suspensions here, Z. Let's just talk about the Perros show. Like, what is a suspension now? Like, what does any of it even mean? I don't think anyone can really make rhyme or reason of it. Try. I do have to rewind the clock. I think our highest viewed like moment and clip that we've ever posted for this show, at least among the top ones, is you pretending to be Perros and like turning around and like pretending to click the remote. And I dubbed in actual video of the play with Jamie Benn. Oh my God. But Mark Perros like went to Harvard. He's supposed to be smart. What the fuck's he doing?
Princeton.
Oh yeah, Princeton. It's the same thing. Just doesn't look as cool. Sorry, Mark Zuckerberg didn't go there.
He doesn't strike me as the studying type based on the photo.
I mean, it was like with all the chaos now, which I mean, it's incredible the fact that it was like Gudas suspension happens on with Matthews, which again, that was low for me. That's got to be 7 or 8 there. Then McDavid makes a comment. Then Paris has to come out and make a comment. And I mean, within 72 hours, AJ Greer throws one of the most dangerous hits or play. I mean, it's not even like a hit. That's one of the most dangerous plays you could possibly do in the middle of a hockey game. And to the point where it's not even close to a hockey play. And like when you talk about like a precedent or whatever, there's only a handful of plays even close to that one. And I mean, Jack Jablonski said it best. He's like, as someone who's pretty familiar with it, this is fucking insane. And the fact that AJ Greer gets 3 fucking games is insane. Like,
yeah,
that play is so. It's just not a hockey play. And I don't care if there's like, oh, well, you know, we're looking like, well, that's a fucking 10 gamer. I'm sorry. That's the most dangerous thing you could do potentially in a hockey. Like, that is, it was like, it didn't make any sense. And the fact that they come out, yeah, 3, it's almost like he was like, yeah, you guys want to get pissed off now? Watch this shit. 3 games. Thank you.
I would respect that more if he came out. He's like, you're all yelling at me. I'm going to keep doing ridiculous shit until you shut up. I'd be like, all right, at least that explains it kind of. But like, for all of these, like, the fact that they default to let's do a phone hearing and like cap this at 5. How about have the in-person hearing and at least have the opportunity to backpedal or like explain like, hey, we did go through this and we think it's 5 games versus, oh yeah, we can only go to 5, so that's what it is. Haha.
That's
like,
I think you got to treat it like they do when they call like a little bit when they call a higher penalty so they can review it. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to stick with the call. They're giving themselves the opportunity to go down from it. And I like as opposed to just doing the bare minimum. At some point you have to, I don't think
they're even doing that at this point.
Yeah, at some point you have to kind of somebody's going to have to be the example.
I would like to see if I'm going to take the NHLPA serious at times, like a situation like that where AJ Greer, let me emphasize, this will quite literally never happen, no matter what the play is. If I'm going to take them serious about like being mad about player safety, if I want to see you be like, yo, no, that's more than 3.
Yeah.
That'll never happen, obviously. Ever. Never will that happen. But it's just crazy. There's so many times where I'm like, man, it feels like the NHLPA cares more about like making sure the guy that did something fucked up has more money in his pocket. And again, like obviously there's no appeal here happening. And like the NHLPA is not gonna say anything because it's a 3 gamer. But like a guy like Connor Zari's sitting there like, yo, what the fuck was that? And I don't actually think that some of these guys care that much about, other than like Mike Hoffman, who naturally a couple years ago when AJ Greer like butt-ended him in the fucking mouth when AJ Greer was in the Bruins, he got a 1-game suspension. Hoffman posted a picture. He's like, yeah, 1-game suspension. This is bullshit. I was like, holy shit. Hey, Mike, get back on the Twitter, bud. Post this shit again. If I'm going to take the NHLPA all that serious, I would love to be like, you know, we demand more than 3. Just see what AJ Greer does. Loses shit. But yeah, I can't believe that was a 3-gamer. That's insane to me. But anyways, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of over the whole player safety thing. Like I just want it to stop being a story. Like stop making it be a story.
It somehow feels like anytime there's one bad one, it's gonna be in like the suspensions. Like everyone's like, "Yo, are you fucking serious?" Or there's no suspension within 12 minutes. I mean, Rantanen did it twice in like 36 hours this year.
Well, and I like there's been
got
a lot of ridiculous
and then tried to kill Coronado.
There's been a lot of dumb shit over the years, but it's just I don't know if we're ever going to fix it, though. Are we? Because the problem is, who can change this? The NHLPA.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if they're serious this summer, I guess.
But the NHLPA is defending both sides, so you're never going to get it right. Like they're never going to interject themselves to try and fix it because they're going to piss someone off on either side, and they don't really seem to give a shit about the star player. They care more about how do we stop players from losing games and losing money. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy to me that that's how it works. But I guess there's less superstars and more non-superstars, so that's where they're going to lean. I don't know. It seems crazy for the league to defend this kind of thing in general. Like the Matthews thing is the perfect example of like, you're going to side with Gudas over Matthews. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pretty stupid. Let's see. Do we still have? Oh yeah, we got a good one here. Let's see if this might cover you up, Seth. If it does, I'll flip us. But we should talk about the Utah Mammoth. They could finish the season with more points than every team in the Pacific. Do we treat this like a dynasty league in fantasy football where it's like, if this happens, do we just wipe it all clean and we do a clean redraft of the entire league and just start over? Because how does that happen that the fourth best team in the Central beats all of the Pacific teams, gets the clear easiest path to the Stanley Cup final, when Minnesota, Colorado, and Dallas have to bludgeon each other and hope that they come out with a couple more limbs than the Dark Knight in Monty Python? Like,
I have said for most of the season, I think they're the fourth best team in the West. Like, the Pacific is just, as we have said, trash. It is interesting because they've had some really, really good stretches, of play. But if they could have avoided, I think they had like a stretch where they were like 8-2, and then they lost 7 games in a row, and they've been all over the place. If they could have avoided some of that, you wonder how close they would have been to the Wild right now. If they could have just avoided some of the lows, would they be within 5-6 points of where the Wild are at right now? I think with some of the injuries that they suffered, had they been able to avoid those, like that stretch from October 28th to December 10th, where they won 6 games.
Yeah.
Not ideal. But they rallied after that. They rebounded after that. They've been playing much better. But if they even just go 500 in that stretch, who knows?
To me, I'm going to start telling people, are you ready for Stanley Cup finalist Utah Mammoth?
I am. I'm
this
prepared.
is so like 2018 Vegas Golden Knight coded, where I'm like Vegas goes up against Winnipeg in that, was it the conference final? After Winnipeg and Nashville beat the ever-living dog shit out of each other.
And Winnipeg still
one of the best series ever. And then Vegas shows up, loses game 1 in Winnipeg, and then just goes on a tear 4-0. And then obviously Vegas and Washington play in the Cup final, and Ovi gets his ring. But like, I'm just looking at this path where I'm like, they're sitting there like, I'll just let everyone else kick the shit out of each other. And we have a few road bumps that we might have to clear here, but yeah, no, let us coast through the fucking Pacific here.
Do you think Winnipeg beats Washington? Because I kind of do.
I think it
they
at least
probably
goes
would.
7, because like that year, because for a couple of years there, it was like, is Washington gonna get over the Pittsburgh thing?
Can they get past the
and then once they did, I was like, uh-oh, here we go.
Oh, everyone was. Like Sid, like goes up to Ovi, he's like, your turn.
Yeah, Kuznetsov went sicko mode that playoff series too.
Oh, the bird. The bird.
Mm. And again, very funny that Vegas was doing the shit where they're the on ice graphics. They were just killing the other team's mascot. And then when they were going up against the Washington Capitals, they're like, well, we can't do that. Like, we cannot kill their mascot. We can't kill the
Yeah.
well, let's just have that. We're gonna say they're another person. They're another night, I guess, and we're gonna kill that night. But the Golden Knight wasn't gonna take down.
They should have just had it be like carving a turkey for Thanksgiving. Shout out to America for somehow having their final battle be between the bald eagle and the turkey for our nation symbol.
I also remember thinking, I was like, man, the Vegas Winnipeg Jets see, like that's a dicey one. Where the Golden Knight was taking on a plane. I was like, that feels crazy.
I don't believe it flew into a building, which is good.
He was. Anyways. Yeah, no, Utah, they've got this path now where even Vegas has just had major issues with goaltending, but even then they're still just
their blue line is a problem.
Losing Pietrangelo, the minivan man, obviously they haven't really been able to. They've got some they have a Shea Theodore, a 1A type of guy or a 1B type of guy on the back end there, but and Rasmus Anderson, anyone that thought that was going to be a major. I'm absolutely no. It's just crazy that they.
I think they had no choice.
I would have kept Zach Whitecloud if I'm being honest with you, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Utah States Zach Whitecloud.
The pride, enjoy.
The key cog. They've fallen apart since he left.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they weren't together before he left, but yes, it's only gotten worse. And then the last thing, it kind of goes to what I've been talking about here. Oops, wrong one. The only thing that Merrick said it on the sheet, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to believe it, but his theory is that the only reason Bettman is so strong for defending this playoff format is that he wants to hold on to an easy win for his replacement in the next couple of years. To come in and be like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to fix the playoffs. And then everyone has to like them and bring them in gracefully. To be so strong in defending this playoff format, which is the dumbest freaking playoff format you could have, I can't get over it. And I know Bettman's a smart guy and there has to be a reason, but it can't be because he actually believes it's the best playoff format. Because again, to our point, Utah, the fourth best team in the Central Division, will have the easiest path to the finals out of everyone in the Central Division, which makes no goddamn sense. The real question is, what's the right format? Is it seeding 1 through 8? Is it seeding 1 through 16? Is it throwing names in a hat and pulling them out? Is it doing what the PWHL does and say top seed picks their opponent? What's the answer?
How about we start with 1 through 8?
I think 1 through 8 is the right answer.
Just as a starting point to see, and the worst case scenario is that you end up liking it and you stick with it. That is the worst possible thing that could happen. And that would be infinitely better than what we are currently dealing with. So just do 1 through 8 and everybody will stop complaining about it. We'll stop complaining about it. Bill Guerin will stop being upset about it. It just everything will fix itself.
How about this? Because this year I'm how about 1 through 16? Because I think as things stand right now, I think 5 teams with top 16 are coming out of the West. No, I'm just kidding. But what if both 1 through 8 in each conference on the table? But if by the time we get to January or February, if the disparity between the East and the West is this bad, surprise, fellas, 1 through 16 this year, what are you going to do now? Because the West, I think it's 11 teams in the top 16 are coming out of the East, right? Meanwhile, the top of the AHL is the big boys out West. But no, I think 1 through 8 each, because it's insane. This is such a joke. No one's liked it. That's the thing. Since they put it in place, everyone's like, this is stupid. All right, I guess we're doing it, though.
I think Bettman just doesn't like being told he's wrong. He's like, fuck you, I'm going to quadruple down.
I do like the fact that once it came out that the GM that was talking, going nuts about headshots and then goaltender interference was Eric Tulsky. He was like, you're just speaking for your owner, Dundon. And it's what a shocking concept. The GM and the owner be on the same page. What are you fucking? He's like, you're just saying that because your owner did. He's like, yeah. What? Yeah. What
Who do you think pays me?
What? That you work for that guy too. But I was like, yeah. What do you mean? Yes. You're saying that because your owner does. I was like, yeah, well, I bet he says he thinks the same thing as well. Shocking. The idea that an owner and a GM would be on the same page about some topic.
I'll be honest though, if I could choose between fixing the playoffs versus the non-playoffs, I would go non-playoffs, and I would immediately hit the red button and institute the Shane Doan draft lottery. No questions asked. And I don't know, Z, I feel like I had to have talked to you about this many times. Seth, are you familiar with the Shane Doan methodology?
No.
Shane Doan is a genius. And he said, because he literally watched his son, who now plays in the NHL for the Buffalo Sabres and rocks, by the way, Josh Doan, sick. 2015, when we saw the Buffalo Sabres trade away their goalie who was playing too well because they needed to tank for McDavid, and then ended up with Eichel, who, well, that's all history. He remembers his son in Arizona cheering against his team as he's playing because he wanted a better draft pick. And he's like, fuck this, we need something better. The solution, Seth, is the day that a team is mathematically eliminated from the postseason, they flip a switch and they start accumulating lottery points for wins. Because the worse team you are, the more games you'll have to accumulate those wins.
Right.
So you can't completely sell off and just lose everything. Whereas like a team that is mathematically eliminated with a week to go, they'll play 2 games and maybe they win both games, but that's still just 2 wins. So like it's parity from like, if you're bad, you're going to get more games to have a chance to win, but yeah, better not suck bad enough to not win any of them because, well, sucks to be you. I could not be a bigger supporter of the Shane Doan draft lottery system.
That rocks. I dig that. Tremendous.
This is from like a decade ago and no one talks about it, and it makes me sad.
I dig that. I would be in favor of seeing that be used going forward.
Imagine a team being out of it. Imagine the Vancouver Canucks this year. They're out of it at the trade deadline, but they are mathematically eliminated. They're like, fuck this. We're going to add because we want to win games and we want to be able to get the number 1 overall pick. Like,
yeah,
it's interesting. It makes for way more buyers at the deadline. It's fun.
Pittsburgh would have come into the year losing every single game and then try to get mathematically eliminated first. And like, all right, now we're going. Sid, you're activated.
Now we're doing the actual plan. Thank you. Which, the Penguins. Goddamn.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
I'm so happy I was wrong, I guess. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I never imagined them being this firmly in the playoffs at this point. It's crazy. They'll still make me sad in the playoffs, but that's whatever. Moving on. Let's talk college hockey. And I guess first, Z, because this is the order that it's falling in, I am curious your opinion, because earlier in the year, it was very, very clear that the Big Ten had taken over college hockey. You had 4 teams firmly in the top 10 with a couple more that were looking kind of feisty-ish. We get to the end of the year now, and you look at the teams that are in the big dance for the Big Ten and NCHC. Which conference is better? It's tough.
That's it. There's probably not even a right answer.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's right there.
I think Michigan State and Michigan are clearly better than the rest, but I think the depth and balance of the NCHC is scarier because I don't take Penn State or Wisconsin seriously anymore, like I did at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that's fair. By the way, that fucking Denver Duluth championship game, banger.
I need Duluth to come out of that region so bad.
Yeah, we got Penn State in round 1. That could be electric.
Well, let's get into the brackets then, and let's see. Mateo has these listed out by location. All right, I guess we're starting. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, I guess we're starting here with Western Michigan, and it's funny because I was going to ask
the Loveland Regional.
Yeah, and he has it labeled as Manchester for some reason.
Vegas.
That's okay. I don't know what the other ones are, though, because there's a different Loveland one. So I don't know what Loveland actually is, but this is Loveland. A lot of people have said that the Michigan Regional, Albany, is the region of death. I am going to counter and say Loveland is the region of death. Z, which is the true region of death? And yes, we all know Sioux Falls is the fucking cupcake that hands North Dakota a Frozen 4 ticket. Absolute joke.
I think you could make an argument for Loveland or Worcester. Like Michigan State getting UConn for the first fucking matchup. That sucks. And then Dartmouth and Wisconsin. Like Dartmouth has been ridiculous this year. Wisconsin is, I don't know.
UConn's tough.
And that, like Dartmouth, Wisconsin, that's going to be a fucking rock fight. And I have a funny feeling Dartmouth will pull it off.
Dartmouth absolutely should. Wisconsin,
and they are a pain in the fucking ass to play against. Oh my god.
Here's my take on death.
I look top to bottom, dude. Western Michigan, Denver, Cornell, Minnesota. So that's probably the answer.
Western Michigan getting Minnesota State, Mankato, as a 1 seed.
Congrats.
That's a kick in the dick. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say that Mankato is like a stalwart program this year, and like you should be terrified.
There's
That's a shitty matchup if you're a 1 seed in your regional to be like, oh shit, the team that shuts everything down, we're going to be in a scrap and someone's going to win by 1 goal. That is the shittiest matchup you can get. And then Western Michigan, if they win that, has to play against Denver in Colorado. I view every region of death by what does the 1 seed have to go through. Because really, that's how it should be viewed. Because the 2-3 matchup is always going to kind of suck, right? Mm-hmm. That is the worst matchup you could be handed as a 1 seed. It seems almost unfair. And I want to hear from you, Seth, because you are recently ordained as Minister of Mankato on the call. Tell us what we need to know about them and how they could be putting Western Michigan on upset alert.
You know, it's going to come down to if the Mavericks are able to slow down that offense. But here are the things that go in their favor. I mean, they've got one of the best goaltenders in college hockey, Alex Tracy, who is pretty battle tested. So he is going to be ready to go for the moment. It felt like this Mavericks team kind of started to put things together in the final few games of the season to where they're playing their best hockey at the right time. So yeah, they had some struggles during the middle of the season. The offense was very hit or miss. The power play recently snapped a 0 for 28, I think it was. But they got all that done as they were hitting their stride. So you're playing a Maverick team that's playing their best hockey of the year with an incredibly good goalie. And like you said, it's going to be a very uncomfortable matchup for them to then have to, okay, so you win that one, then you got to go toe to toe with probably Denver. That's a hell of a draw.
Which we talk about coach of the year candidates for college hockey. I'm not going to sit here and say like people thought Denver was going to be bad. Denver has far exceeded what anyone expected coming into the season with what they had lost. And they've only looked better down the stretch after starting a little bit slower and losing to a shitbag team like the Gophers. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I actually love a lot of the players on the team and think that there's just a couple things that didn't fall right. But no, like Denver is so much better than I thought they'd be. Like when you watch them play, their ranking, like people say, oh, they're a 2 seed. Like, I don't freaking care. They looked so good down the stretch, and they, again, did their same bullshit in the NCHC tournament. That's a terrifying team to play. No one wants to play against Denver or the man-child named Polkamp. who I think deserves the Hobie if it's not Charlie Stramel.
I wouldn't argue with Polkamp.
Sounds like you'd argue with Stramel. I don't like that. I don't like it.
Veach gonna lose his shit. Veach just showed up talking shit about Dartmouth. I was like, yeah,
let's
fair. Their schedule sucks.
Veach knows that the later portion of the season wasn't the best for Max Plant, but also he knows that my 3, if I had to pick my Hobie hat trick, would be Stramel, Plant, Polkamp. That's my 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also crazy that 2 of the best players this year didn't even get into the top 10 in Porter Martone and Michael Hage. Michael Hage being supplanted by TJ Hughes is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Same points. I get that he's older. Oh, he's a senior. No, Michael Hage is the play driver for Michigan. True or false?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that one was pretty egregious.
Is it racist?
Okay. God damn it.
All right, moving past that. So this regional, I think, is the region of death, but Z, I'll let you make your counter argument for this being the region of death, even though Michigan should hopefully sleepwalk past their first matchup.
Yeah, I don't think. I do think the was it Loveland? You said, is that where I keep
Loveland? Yeah, because that's the Colorado one. When somehow Denver gets the upper hand.
So like, hello. And by the way, shout out the AD for Western Michigan being like, any fan that wants to make it will pay for that trip. That rules. Love that.
That every school should do that. By the way,
should be doing that. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think realistically, it's like Michigan. Like when you look at all the 1 seeds who they're playing in the first round, you look at Bentley, and like that's another team out here that's just like a pesky, annoying team to play against. But realistically, they don't even sniff the star power of Michigan, so that really shouldn't be an issue. Duluth and Penn State, it's kind of just like Penn State's all chaos, and Duluth is just an incredible team. And yet you could see like Gavin McKenna going sicko mode, except I just don't think him by himself is going to be enough to handle Duluth. So, we'll see what happens in that Duluth Penn State game. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be a high event, which can be very fun. But I think Duluth, they top to bottom, too much firepower, and just to go up against the unorganized chaos of Penn State, which, I mean, they didn't even. You look at the big towns, like maybe they could try to match Michigan. Yeah, no.
Am I crazy for like wanting to hammer Duluth against Penn State? Like, I think that is it feels borderline lock for me.
Yeah.
Is that crazy, or do you agree?
No, I'm with you. I think Duluth's going to pound them.
I want Duluth to come out of this regional. And I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
I know a lot of people have like weird stances on this in state. Like, if these teams play the Gophers, I hate them immensely. If they're not playing the Gophers, like, I want Minnesota teams to do well. I have no qualms with Duluth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so many Gopher fans like, oh, fuck Duluth for winning those natties. Like, Gophers weren't going to win them. Go Duluth. Go St. Cloud. Go Mankato. Like, I have no ill will for these teams as long as they're not going head-to-head with the Gophers. If you're playing the Gophers, I will hate you more than any team that's not Wisconsin, North Dakota, and Michigan. Those 3 are always going to be at the top of my list. Then it's the Minnesota schools if the Gophers play them. That's really as far as it goes.
Yeah, I want those.
Who do you think gives Michigan a harder time? Duluth or Penn State?
Duluth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
That feels right.
Like, we got Michigan, Penn State already. Like,
so here's my question then. How do you see that playing out? Duluth, Michigan, like, is that a coin flip game? Do you still think Michigan has a pretty solid upper hand? How do you view it playing out?
it's tough. Like, even when Michigan had a couple guys go out with like big time injuries, like they still just remained pretty consistent. I think they had like 2 or maybe 3 weekends where there was like a minor blip on the radar there, but like, I don't know. There's something about this Duluth team. Like, even just going down in that first period, 3-0 against Denver, And then after that, like, holy shit, that second period, they were just kicking the shit out of Denver I was like, it's just impressive. So I have a nagging suspicion that Duluth will get out of this region. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me, I'm not I really don't like Michigan. I just never have, never will. So it might be just that bias coming in, but there's something about this Duluth team that I really have a hard time seeing them not coming out of their region. So I'm going Duluth. And I think it's going to be a really fucking good game, too. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a banger.
I'm in.
I think.
And also, Veach, just get on YouTube if you want to comment. God damn it. Get off of X. You're the only X commenter. Stop.
That's pretty funny, though, actually.
Stands out. It stands out.
I think I would tend to lean slightly Michigan, like 55-45. I think it's close, but
I think the X factor in that is going to be Guyon, because
Yep.
Ivan Kovic has been pretty solid this year. If Guyon can stand the way that we've seen in the past, I don't see any reason they can't beat Michigan, because again, Michigan has been way better this year than a lot of people expected. Like, I figured they'd be a top 5 team. A lot of people had them closer to 10. I didn't think they'd be number 1 coming into this whole thing right now. They are still, in their nature, a chaotic team like Penn State. They're just better, and they can get away with a lot of it. And some of it's been less chaotic than usual, but like Michigan in their history under this coach, they are extremely chaotic. Mm-hmm. And what is Scott Sandelin? The opposite of that. He cooks on the chaotic. The talent, I'm still going Michigan. Like, Michigan's depth is better. It just flat out is. But if Duluth can just frustrate them enough, get them to do stupid things, and that first line can cook, like, there's no reason Duluth can't be in Vegas, and I'll be so sad that I won't be there watching it in person. That's a different story. Which one do we want next then, Z? Do we want the absolute cupcake of all cupcakes, or do we want the other one?
Well, I mean, shout out Merrimack College, first 8 seed to ever win Hockey
Cosgrove's
East.
a bastard.
Oh my god.
Cosgrove intentionally goes over to X. I'm done with Cosgrove. I thought we were friends.
But either way, I just want to say, shout out Merrimack College, first 8 seed win Hockey East, I believe, ever.
Very cool.
Just a incredible performance. Max Lundgren with the performance of all performances in that final against UConn. I think it was 49 saves on 50 shots, under siege. And I mean, the fact that like Merrimack put up that eventual game-winning goal like 28 seconds into the third period. And then, I mean, they were under siege for 19 and a half minutes. And Lundgren was just like making 10 bell save after 10 bell save. Very cool. Again, Merrimack College, right around where I'm from originally. Been one of the coldest rinks I've ever been to in my fucking life, Merrimack College. I went there. It was the first time I ever saw, back when the Minnesota Wild had Nikita Nesterenko, Marshall Warren, and Chad McBain in their prospect pool when they were at BC. I went to go check out North Andover, or Merrimack versus BC at Merrimack when I was living back home. But shout out Merrimack College. Very cool story. They've had a couple years where they've been a really solid team, but it was just really cool to see a big-time underdog come out of Hockey East. And again, shout out Max Lundgren, the goaltender. Providence Quinnipiac is going to be an interesting one. Quinnipiac, the second I hyped them up super hard, they got absolutely fucking basted by fucking Clarkson in that first round. So we'll see. Providence has just been really solid since like mid-December.
Do you worry about both of these teams coming in cold? Like, what's that do?
I don't really know how much to do for either one of them. The other thing was like Quinnipiac, I did have to go back and check myself. I was like, maybe the schedule was something else, but like Providence, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I have a feeling Providence comes out, just given the fact they've been more consistent later on in the year. But
quick question. I don't pay enough attention to Eastern hockey, generally speaking, outside of like a little bit to BU and BC, because usually they matter in other years. Like Quinnipiac, that freshman, how good is he versus is he just beating up on shitty teams? Like is he the best
Yes.
player in the country having the
No.
most points?
I don't think he's the best player in the country, but
Like where
what
is
he's
he?
doing is legit.
Okay.
I mean, so what round did the Flames take him? Was he a third rounder?
Fifth.
It was a fifth rounder. Yeah, I think
Insane.
part of it is he's putting up crazy points, but like you watch him, he's like taking over shifts, game in, game out. Like he's a legit prospect, but as far as best player in the country, no, I don't think so. You look at like he's had like a couple like 4-pointers against like again, like actually I guess I can't talk shit because Bentley's in the tournament again. Like Bentley, but like I don't know. He's legit though. He's a good player. I still think he's the best player in the country, but I mean, Quinnipiac, they put up fuck you kind of offense, and he's leading the charge on that front for sure.
I do have to ask, guys. I don't know. Did either of you watch the like announcement show on ESPNU?
No, everyone was pissed. It was very funny. Everyone was so mad the whole time.
My thing was the fact that Buccigross included his analysis for why he thinks Michigan deserves the 1 seed. They can go to distance. Is they're sick buckets and they're great uniforms. What the fuck? Like pretend to care. Pretend.
All right, thanks, John.
Also, I love, and I wish this was an original thought for me. It's definitely the way I think, but I didn't come up with it myself. People immediately being like, oh, wait, there's 0 East teams in. So they have to talk about a West team. They're like, no, we're going to make this all about Penn State. And Penn State is the adopted East Coast team now. So they almost have to make it to the Frozen Four because otherwise Buccigross just won't show up. It's insane. And he even comments like, yeah, the alleged East Coast bias. Like, fuck you, dude. We listened to the calls in the 2023 Frozen Four.
It's pretty confirmed.
No, you're biased.
It's pretty
the
confirmed.
things Barry Melrose said to me in the elevator can't be unheard. We're moving on.
Oh, Veach is on YouTube.
He is. He's made several comments now. We almost have to throw them all up now. I already threw up perfect playoff PK so far. He said Merrimack turnaround started when they burned those hideous highlighter yellow sweaters.
They were so bad. Which is
what's reminded me how much I hated Buccigross's helmet comment for Michigan. Leave that crap on the football fields. Yes. And then he says, tourney/bracket preview. You mean the McKenna highlight reel?
Yeah,
it's literally insane that it went that route.
Nah, if you want to do that, if you want to make it,
like think about it though, pre-Christmas or World Juniors, that would have been insane. At least he kind of lived up to it post World Juniors, right?
If you're gonna take over the bracket preview, and it's just gonna be all, give me the security cam video of him beating the wheels off someone at least. Throw that in the mix. Could this be the X Factor? Could this be the X Factor?
I do love that Bill Guerin was the first GM named, where they're like, oh, you guys think this is gonna be a problem for being drafted? Bill Guerin will be sprinting to the podium to get this player. I'm like, yeah, he would. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I loved how mad everyone was. I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah. Well.
Didn't it also take
I want nothing to do with the Loveland Regional if Colby's there.
Didn't it also take him about 20 minutes to even announce the matchups?
I think our buddy Go for Puck Live, I think they were going nuts. They're like,
dragged out.
what the fuck are we doing? Actually, there's Go for Puck Live.
Yeah.
There they are, boys. He's so bad, but you got, yeah.
No, it was the craziest drag out. Let's make this a thing. Like,
yeah.
And again, gotta have Colby Cohen there.
Man, I gotta try to. Oh man. Also, I saw a comment earlier from Cosgrove. It was like, "What's up with these random ass fucking locations for the regionals? Sioux Falls, Loveland, and Albany. I don't want to go to any of them." I was like, "Thank you for leaving at Worcester. That's right by. That's like 45 minutes from me. I could just go out there." I was like, "Yes, leave out."
Sorry, how did you pronounce Worcester?
Yeah. Okay. Great diners. Great diners, by the way.
What's
21 minutes. There. That's how long it took. Yeah.
That's insane.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
God, I'm fired up though. I cannot wait. That fucking Western Michigan, Minnesota State.
That one
gonna be
scares me.
It's going to be a war.
That's going to be a war. And then I'm really excited again. Shout out the Worcester Regional, Michigan State, and UConn. They've put a ton of money in that program too. They've been like getting better and better.
It's a very good point, Veach. It's very important that the people know that this is a problem. It's a problem and we can't fix it.
It's an unfixable problem.
Ah, man. But yes, off of the cupcake region, which is North Dakota, getting pretty lucky. I did think this was scary just because, again, UConn is a shitty first matchup for Michigan State. Undeserved. But if they get past it, I feel like Dartmouth and Wisconsin can be pretty well had by Michigan State. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too. Dartmouth, like, they're just so good defensively. Again, you look at the schedule, though, it's the same kind of comment with like Quinnipiac, I guess.
Sure.
And like, I think Dartmouth's schedule this year is like even more egregious as far as like easier, but like that their defense is legit. They got some big boys too. They play hard. They're super fucking physical, and they can shut it down. But we'll see. But I don't really know what to make of Wisconsin by the end of the year. Like, I was like, this is the weirdest. One of the weirder Wisconsin teams in seasons possible.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah, they jumped off the cliff at the end of the season.
I love that the Gophers were kind of a catalyst for it, even though shit couldn't have gone more south for the Gophers after that.
We were like,
very
that's
fun having
momentum.
that one weekend. I was on top of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Let's run it down then, boys. We're gonna go through every regional. Who comes out of? And Mateo has them labeled differently. Is this Worcester?
Yeah.
Worcester Regional. Who comes out? Seth?
I'll take Michigan State.
See?
Yeah, Michigan State. Yeah.
Charlie Stramel. That's 3. All right. Next up, we've got Loveland. Who comes out?
I'm gonna make the homer pick. I'm gonna take the Mavericks.
That you should do that. That's fair.
Yeah, why
See?
not?
I'm gonna go Denver. Coach Carl's got something up his sleeve again. Although the last time they played that last series, Western Michigan put a beat down on them a couple weeks ago. But I don't know. Carl is just, I mean, somehow he's adding more money to whatever contract from the NHL he's going to get. I don't know how he keeps doing this shit. Denver, Cornell, that's going to be a fucking banger too, dude.
It'll be a good game. But yeah, how do I not pick Denver? It's Denver.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Sioux Falls. It kills me. It ends me to say North Dakota should cakewalk through this. Like, this is the most guaranteed Frozen Four attendee, is it not?
I think so.
I think the second game's going to be harder than maybe you would think. But yeah, no, I think they just have too much firepower. Yeah. Shout out, Will
Last one.
I'm going Duluth.
Albany, Duluth all the way. I'm picking Duluth.
Yeah.
Do it.
Clean sweep.
So let's be clear. We have one
trap game.
We have 2 1 seeds coming out, which that seems pretty accurate for a Frozen Four. 2 1 seeds, 2 non-1 seeds. Okay. So then from there, I'm sorry, what are the matchups? Would it be then? It would be North Dakota against the 2 1 seeds would face each other right away, which is hilarious. North Dakota, Michigan State, and then Duluth versus Denver. That is a wild matchup that just went to overtime in the NCHC championship. Who are we taking in that one? I pass.
Who do you think you are? Me?
My answer is I think whoever wins that one wins the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm taking Michigan State over North Dakota.
Yeah, Michigan State over North Dakota. I have a funny feeling that Duluth is going to pull this one off again. I just like when I looked at the way they responded from going down 3-0 in that first fucking period. And like from then on out, up until the last probably few minutes of that third period, and then some of the overtime. But Adam Guyon went sicko mode for a little bit there as well.
I need more Guyon sicko mode.
Duluth is cooking. They got something going right now.
Well, let's talk then. We gotta talk
right now, the whole fucking year.
Well, we gotta talk about our boys, Minnesota Wild prospects. There are Minnesota Wild prospects that are very much involved in all of this. Aaron Pionk, Z, how much of an impact does he make on all of this?
I mean, he's going to be a secondary guy this year. If he had no points up until what?
Pretty late.
And then he went a little bit of a streak. I mean, he made 2 or 3 plays in that second and third period that, like, I mean, he was putting some backdoor tap-ins on a platter that just didn't end up in, but he made one real nice play where he like lined someone up at the offensive blue line, took the puck, and then fed something for a half break. But I mean, his minutes have gone down a little bit this year, but he's still a factor somewhat. But I mean, again, I think they're riding the big dogs.
All right, talk about one of our favorites then, Riga Lorenz.
He's now on an 11-game fucking point streak, I think. It's maybe 12 now. 1-1 in that championship game. Opens the scoring. Yeah, there you go. Pionk could be playing better. A couple lapses defensively. Yeah, definitely a different year. But yeah, no, he's a dog still. But Riga Lorenz, again, he's kind of the jack of all trades, master of none for Denver. Like, they're going to put him on the ice in any big situation. Again, opens the scoring against Duluth in the championship game, adds an assist later on.
Until he gets traded, he'll be one of my favorite Wild prospects just because our conversation about Casa Bonita.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I needed.
Uh,
Sadly, Bobby Brink has not been to Casa Bonita. I will spoil that.
Well, no, I'm not going to listen.
You shouldn't. That's really the only reason to listen.
Yeah, true. But yeah, no, Riga Lorenz, I mean, he's just part of that fucking engine for Denver. Like, I mean, Carl talked about this probably over a year ago. He's like, yeah, no, like any big situation, Lorenz is going over the boards. We know how much the Wild are invested in him too. Just like the fact that they were calling him at one point, like after every game last couple of years ago. So,
well, tell me, Sans Polkamp, who stands out as like this will be the difference maker and whether or not Denver moves on?
Boston Buckberger has been a freak.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, he's been an animal. And then, I mean, you look at the am I still here? Oh no, it's just that my monitor went out and I was like, oh, now it's back. But Epperson has been an animal too of late. Took a little bit of time to adjust to college hockey, obviously, but he's been really good. So yeah, no, they've got, I mean, Denver is just like they're just top to bottom. They've got guys. But I mean, Polkamp's a sick fuck, and then Boston Buckberger just electric. So, and I A+ name.
Yeah, it's a great name. Then the last one, Charlie Stramel. I mean, what more can you say for the guy? And don't get me wrong, I think that Porter Martone, like just pure skill, for my money, best player in college hockey this year. But Charlie Stramel does freaking everything. And I love him dearly. And I wish that Minnesota Wild fans weren't so mean to him early on. Just tell me, what can we expect to see from him down this stretch?
I think more of the same. I mean, Nightingale's talked about it too, that he gets a lot of those guys going. We've been even last year when the Iceman was buzzing. Nightingale was always first to comment, like, Stramel is a big part of that combination too. So I would expect more of the same from Stramel. You're going to get from him every fucking shift. He's a big boy. He's going to hit everything that moves. He's going to make plays down low. He's going to be an absolute nightmare in front of the net. It's a big kid with size. He's got some legit skill. Yeah. So I'd expect more of the same from him.
Come on now. Chew. Fans. right, we're not going down that path. He was bad in Wisconsin for a god-awful Wisconsin team. Then he gets Mike Hastings as a coach who will not give you ice time without an AARP card. What was he supposed to do? Come on. Oh, I want a Gabe Perreault. No, you didn't. Lies. Did I miss anyone? Because I kind of focused on the ones that we had getting to the Frozen Four. What other wild prospects exist in the college postseason? Is there anyone? What did I miss? No one. Good. That helps. I feel vindicated. Well, then I guess we will go to Gopher hockey. Fuck. Sounds like Garrett Raboyne is out. Sounds like the front runner is St. Cloud State's Brett Larson. Still talking to Grant Potolny and mystery coach. It's always fun when it's like a mystery box, like in 500 as a kid. How do we feel? Actually, Jupe, I've heard it's 4:00, but 4 or 4:30. News supposedly coming for the Gophers. I personally hate how rushed it feels. If they've done their due diligence and they've got their people, then whatever. But don't rush it. We've still got some time before the transfer portal opens. Like, I'm just so uncomfortable with the whole thing. I'm not mad about any of the candidates being talked about. Hearing the mystery coach, that'd be fun.
That'd be.
Can you imagine?
I would love the post games. I would love it.
Imagine him doing the post game in like that locker room.
He would rip down the backdrop immediately. I don't know. For me, supposedly the mystery coach has Minnesota ties. So like that immediately points to, is Raboyne still available? Is it Ferschweiler and no one's talking about it? And of course, right before we jumped on here, Jess Myers is like, I'm shocked to hear that Ferschweiler hasn't been contacted. Like, I don't know who the mystery person is. Half of me is like, yeah, it's definitely going to end up being Brett Larson. The other half of me is like, whoever this mystery person is, it's going to be some grand reveal and it's going to be fun and hopefully good. I don't know. I want non-biased outsider opinions from you guys. Like, do you have any thoughts on what the hell is going on with Gopher hockey?
This seems...
I want Luke Strand.
You can't have him. Because if Strand were asked, he'd say, I ain't fucking leaving.
Just like Mike Hastings.
Yeah. It feels like Coyle, like you would have liked to have seen a logical successor in place the moment that Motzko was let go, right?
You think
I think that this year was a developing situation. Like, I feel like the first few weeks of the year, I think Motzko was still all in. I went back and I listened to so many of the post games, like after these tough weekends. I mean, the man sounds fucking exhausted. And I don't know how much of this new phase of college hockey and like where it's going is he's just like, I don't fucking like this. And like, that's what, like, and again, it made me like, when they were like their mutual parting ways, I was like, is it mutual? I went back, I was like, mate, I think begrudgingly probably is like, I just don't think I can, I want to.
I think because he was unsure, it made it easier to be mutual. But yeah. I don't know. There's so much going around with this because I've heard from several sources that like there were players and other people that wanted Bob out. I also like can see where Bob was just ready to be done. It's a completely different college hockey. The man's 65 years old. Like he's not a spring chicken. Like I can see all angles and I've heard every different version of the story. So I don't know what's real and what's not. I really don't. All I know is if the players and other people there like wanted him out, I can completely understand the decision that was made. If not, it's crazy to me that they made the decision based off 1 year when he had very little term left on his contract. And we have what should be a really good team next year, assuming that people don't all of a sudden start bolting in the transfer portal. Like this year, what had everything working against them. And am I going to sit here and say that Bob had zero hand in that? No. But goddamn, he loses 6 notable players that weren't graduates when he expected maybe one or two. And we talked about it the other week, Z. Like most of them, hey, I understand it was warranted. But Pat Micheletti said on Fellowship of the Rink that dropped earlier today, like Matthew Wood was coming back until Nashville came to him and said, we'll put you in the lineup tomorrow. Please sign and come. He's like, fuck, Bob, I got to go. I'm sorry. Like he was coming back. Bob thought he had him back.
Yeah.
Maybe that means Connor Kurth stays. Maybe that means the next guy stays. Like it's such a different team this year if that all happens. And I'm not saying that means they're going to win a natty because they weren't going to, but they're probably a team we're talking about in these regional breakdowns if some of those guys stay because it makes a big freaking difference.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with it.
I feel like if you give this another year and you're just in a much better spot because then it was either a one-off or it was kind of a trend that you got to bring somebody else in to try to correct. A lot of turnover like that is something that takes a while to get, gelling, and to just do this because of one, granted it was a pretty bad season, but to do this because of one season feels extremely reactionary and very premature.
And given the circumstances of toughest schedule in college hockey, flat out,
yeah,
it looked better down the stretch run too, especially once he realized, oh, if I put Lamb on that first line with Mooney and Zemer, oh shit, this works. They teased me at times after the World Juniors that like maybe they could get lucky and make a run and still make the tournament. Mm-hmm. Granted, I never expected they'd be in the Frozen Four, right? Like, wasn't in the cards, but this is a team that next year could very well be in the postseason, and I'm very curious to see. I want to know how much the players are involved in the next coaching decision, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you asking Brody Zemer, hey, are you staying if it's Brett Larson? Are you staying if it's like whoever? I don't know. But if you only lose the seniors and then shed some of the dead weight, this Gophers team is fucking good next year. When you look at everything that's going to be lost for the other big teams in the Big Ten, like the Gophers could be a top 1 or 2 team just by virtue of not losing things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's really tough to say how this is going to play out. And again, there's plenty of pros and cons to all these guys, and that's part of the nature of the business, but it's just, please don't rush it and try and fill a role too fast because it's biased. I know, but like, this is a coveted position.
Yeah.
You can get 90% of existing college coaches to come to you and fuck over their current team because holy shit, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. It also comes with great pressure and responsibility. Like there's some guys that are not built for that shit. And I get that, but to be like, we have to have someone figured out before any games are played in the NCAA regionals seems crazy to me unless you've got your guy.
100%.
Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm very, very curious to see what happens, but whoever comes in, I am going to be a beacon of positivity. I am going to do my best to go in with only good intentions and positive expectations, but I'm going to be pretty bummed if there were guys left on the table because we jumped the gun and we were impatient. That's all. Who would be your number one pick, Z? Because there's talk about Ferschweiler, who may or may not have been contacted yet. There's talks about Barr out in Maine. Like,
Aaron,
there we go. From
just stay away from Benny Barr. We have absolutely nothing but Ben Barr.
But Ben Barr. Just like what's your stance looking across the league, like knowing, yeah, Carl's not coming here, right? We're not getting any of the big names from like a top 5 school. And there's a couple of guys that are probably just comfortable and entrenched. Like, you're not going to get like BU's coach out, obviously. Like, what is the ideal situation? What's your best pick?
I mean,
like Ferschweiler, for example, does he even make sense? Is he a good fit for Minnesota? Even though he's a great coach.
Great coach. I mean, there's plenty of fucking great coach. Barr will not be. I was just laughing thinking about fucking Maine being like, no, fucking come on.
Hey, if they bring the jerseys in, sold.
That's part.
I love the Gophers jerseys. The only jersey that I will unquestionably say is better than the Gophers is Maine. Beautiful, immaculate jerseys.
Continue. They're so sick.
Continue.
So sick. I don't know. The second that the Moscow announcement happened, like, I mean, I keep having a hard time seeing them go with someone that's not Larson.
It seems like that's the direction it's going.
It just seems like I'm like,
and it sounds dumb, and I'm sorry. This is like very fan speak. I'm not even as opposed to Larson as a lot of people are on social media. Like, I can see the positives. I can also point out negatives, but I hate.
It feels like it doesn't inspire. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, I hate that people are immediately like, oh, it's just like Bob, and Bob sucked, so why is this going to work? And it's like, first off, you're wrong. Bob didn't suck. Shut your mouth. But also, like, you know that, like, the first person that's hired then to replace him in St. Cloud's like, oh, he's the next Gopher coach. Like, I don't want to deal with I'm going to deal with bullshit online about the Gophers anyways. I don't want it to be that. But I don't know. It could be far worse than Brett Larson. And I'm not sitting here saying, like, don't hire him. It's more just don't rush to hire him because he's there and available. Make it a thorough process, get the right guy. And if you decide that that's Brett Larson, I'll go all in and I'll be bought in until he proves me wrong. But don't just do it because he's on the short list and he says yes right away. Like, I want this to be a real process. And I know Coyle is quick to make decisions, and that scares the shit out of me.
It was someone was asking, I think, at the presser tent. He was like, "Are you gonna wait for? Are you waiting?"
Yeah, and he avoided the question entirely. He's like, "We've got a process."
We've been talking. He's like, "We've been talking to him.
We've got a process built out, and we got good people on our board." Even though when Russo asked me how many people are on it, I couldn't give a real answer because I'm not sure how many people are on our decision-making board. But hey, we got this. I am less confident in Coyle than I am with the rest of it. Like, it's just like, and supposedly he's on his way out. Who freaking knows? I also think it's interesting, like, when we talk to Micheletti, which everyone check out, Fellowship of the Rink, dropped today. Pat Micheletti talks a lot about the Gophers, a little bit about the Wild too, but he's like, no, the GM thing is like, people think that's like bringing in a Bill Guerin. That's not what's needed. We need someone that understands NIL, understands like rules and regulations, and just take that off of the coach's plate. We don't need a true GM in like NHL sense of like, oh, we need you to understand players, trade, acquire. Like, no, we need someone to take the bullshit off of a coach's plate. And it could be multiple people that fill a GM-ish role, even though GM is a really bad term to place on it. Rainbows.
I mean, I think he also was like mentioning the coach, though. Like, I think it was Coyle that was like mentioned, like the coach having a CEO mentality, which is the opposite of that. Like, okay, so you want the coach to be thoroughly like invest in that part of it. Then I guess
it was
like,
confusing the way he said it. Yeah, I didn't.
It sounded like it. Like, there were certain points where I was like, it sounds like you were prepared for about 4 questions. Like, and then
canned responses. Which shout out Jupe, Go for Puck Live.
Maybe Jupe is the mystery candidate.
And I just left it shaking my head like, what the fuck did I get from this whole
thing? Could Jupe be the mystery candidate?
No. Jupe takes pictures. He does not want to coach.
He could. We were talking shit about that shootout, though. We were going down to that locker room.
Now, Dave Spihar on Twitter, to Cosgrove's point, he could be the coach, GM, number 1 player. He could be Jackie Moon. Vigo. I would take Vigo. I'd be intrigued.
Yeah, I like that.
If I knew that LJ Mooney would take Vigo seriously, I'd endorse it immediately.
That's all I need.
But I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would. And it's mostly my fault because I had to interject in Vigo's summer showcase interview and be like, let's talk about Happy Gilmore 2, because you told me we were going to watch it. What's your review? It's like, yeah, I can't play for Vigo. He's got this moron standing next to him. Nope, out. No, I don't know. I'm pretty like loose and fluid. Like I've kind of, it's funny. I'll like go to random people and just like make audacious comments and like watch how they rebuttal. Like Veach can acknowledge this firsthand. Like I text him, just like, tell me why I'm wrong here, please. I beg you, please, please, please. Like I just want someone to explain to me how things can work out with specific coaches. The ones that are on the radar, like I'm not going to freak out positive or negative either way. I'm going to give it time and see what happens.
Trust the process.
I trust the process. I don't trust Coyle's process.
That's fair.
Tell you what, whatever coach comes that Zemer and Mooney stay, I'm in. I don't care. As long as Zemer and Mooney are on our first line next year, I am 150% bought in. Let's go. And DePasquo stays too, because god damn is he diamond in the rough. Thank you, Trey Augustine, for staying an extra year. Charlie Stramel also thanks you.
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, it's just tough.
I can't, since that person put in the mystery candidates, John Tortorella, I just can't stop thinking about his reaction whenever he's going to do the post game in that locker room. There's a little podium right there, and then the reporters take their phones out and put it on the podium.
He would take my phone and smash it
just to picture his reaction.
Over under on the number of times that he would ask or answer a question with, "We stunk. We flat out stink."
I don't know what you want from me. There's no one in the locker room asking questions. I'm not answering that question. What do you want from me? Like, John, you're right in there.
You're a dog. What's that about? Hey, goat.
Cool.
It's a nice beard you got there. Did you know I had a beard in this movie?
All right. Cool.
Sadie mother for me. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say bad things about Tortorella because he helped Bobby Brink get here. So, yay, Tortorella. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's that's about as much as I can say about the Gophers. I'm exhausted on that. I'm just going to wait until the coach is here and we'll talk about it. It sounds like as this drops on audio today, Tuesday, a decision might be announced later today. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But I don't know. Any last thoughts? I don't know. See, it's kind of a weird question to ask because I know you're just in your nature negative on your team, but like Boston versus Pittsburgh, who has a better chance of winning a playoff series?
I'd probably put Pittsburgh there. Like you look at, they're either going to get who? Like Islanders,
Probably
Columbus, like probably put them there. Like Boston's either going to get Buffalo, Tampa, or Carolina. Boston going to be a very annoying team to play because they're going to like hit the shit out of everyone, and then you have Swayman that will somehow miraculously keep them in games every single time. But you look at like I think the fact that Pittsburgh's only gotten better as the year's gone on, like I think they're actually pretty like fairly legit here, and like all the swings that they took have hit. And like Anthony,
I think
Mantha, holy shit, what
Carlson
a
being
year.
a real person helps.
Carlson
Although
has
Letang
gone.
sucks. Letang sucks.
That's fine. Carlson
Which
is
sad.
The shit Carlson's doing is just a joke. I mean, it was funny the second that we had this show, and I was like, Dimitri put up a mixtape of, I think it was against their game against Carolina, some of the shit that Carlson was doing. And then literally the next day, I forget who they were playing. He did it again. And Filipovich was like, I have to put another one up. I have to post another mixtape up. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't even have it anywhere near my bingo card that Pittsburgh might make the postseason.
The one team that said, we're going to sell everyone.
Yeah, no, everyone said this is the only confirmed seller. It's like, maybe not.
Seller's market.
How
Sound?
hang on, Z. Here's the real let's go the fucked up question route. Who makes it further in the postseason? Pittsburgh, Boston, or Minnesota?
Oh.
Minnesota.
I won't say Vancouver. Sorry, Isha.
Shout out Vancouver and Abbotsford getting eliminated from the playoffs on the same day, by the way.
That's pretty cool.
That's solidarity.
That's solidarity. And it is great that we have a team in every division, by the way.
Mm.
We got the Wild just like holistically within the show. Isha's got the Pacific covered with Vancouver. Let's be real. Pacific's not going to matter this year anyways. So, yay, Utah, the best Pacific team. We got Boston. We got Pittsburgh. Who makes it the furthest if you have to stake large sums of money on it?
Minnesota.
You sound so confident.
That's the heart pick.
It kills. Like, I'm not the homer person. Like, Pittsburgh seems like they have the easiest path. So that's my pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Minnesota can win the first round, they have the best chance of winning the second round. Because I don't think Pittsburgh is going to beat like a Carolina in the second round. And I think if Minnesota can hang with Dallas or Colorado and then play the other, like, I have no reason to believe they can't do the same shit again and build off that momentum. It's just like they have the shittiest draw you could imagine for a team that's top 5 in the league. It's insane. It makes no sense. Like, this isn't me saying that I think Pittsburgh is better than Minnesota, because I don't. They just have an easy path laid before them. And for that reason, I'm sure Pittsburgh will lose in the first round and Boston, Minnesota will advance. And hey, all's well in the world. But it's crazy that the Wild are getting bent over this hard. It's crazy. Like, most years it's like, yeah, we know what's happening. We'll bend over and take our punishment. But like, no, this is a year where it's like, God damn, we're really getting screwed. It sucks. And for that reason, it's going to feel so good when it actually works out. And I might pee my pants.
Yeah, me too.
Jose has you wanting to drain Hose B.
C.
Si, senor.
You see what I did there?
Yes. S-I with the weird little squiggle, but you meant the letter C.
Mm-hmm.
I said A and B, and oh my God, we lost Z. That's very funny.
Just
That's his way of telling us to end. Seth,